It's giving me no sign that it's recording. Really? Oh, you can't. I probably didn't hit it.
No, you did. It's rolling.
Oh, it is rolling right now? Oh, sorry. All right, YouTube, edit that part out. I don't know who at YouTube is editing this, but welcome, everyone. We are talking Megalopolis today because, we could have talked about it on our podcast, Mega 64 podcast. You should watch it if you don't already. But the conversation was just a little too much for that format, especially that no one else on the show had seen it. So we wanted to just dedicate some time to talk about it ourselves. Yeah. And I didn't want to just people were like, oh, do a video on your channel and talk about it for an hour like you did the Matrix or whatever. I didn't feel like that was in the spirit of the movie because Mr. Coppola himself, Francis F., said himself in his own words, I created this movie to inspire debate. So I wanted to, there was no way I could see discussing this movie without Johnny by my side. He went to the movie, and I wanted to inspire that debate as well. So we will be having a debate today. We're going to talk about the future. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about ethics. No, we're just going to talk about the movie. This isn't going to be that long. But go ahead. Just give them a quick plot rundown, and then we can kind of go from there.
Well, first of all, I want to sit like this for some reason. I feel like this movie calls for me to sit like fancy.
Also, let me just comment on the shot.
Yeah.
Do you know, I've been getting a lot of comments lately that are like, when people meet me, they're like, damn, you're way taller than I thought. I thought you were like short guy.
Yeah.
And I find that a lot of the shots that I set up, I'm never mindful of this. I always look like the shortest one. Yeah. Because like even on the podcast, I'm kind of at an angle and my chair goes low that it always looks like I'm shorter than Derek and I'm shorter than whatever. When in reality, I'm taller than everyone.
Yeah.
So
you're taller than Garrett even.
I don't know about that. But yeah, it needs to be addressed. So everyone at home, turn your. I don't want to edit this, so turn your head. Anyway, like tilt it. I don't know how that works, but anyway, it does look appropriate for you to sit that way. I was making a joke about him running down the plot because neither of us, I think, can do that. If we put a gun to your head right now, could you go through? I mean, you kind of could. You could do the general plot.
Yeah. It's set in New Rome, which is vaguely based off of New York City.
Yeah.
And there's an eccentric billionaire. Is he? Or we don't know his funds. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of like a family of rich people.
Yeah.
And Adam Driver's character, Caesar.
Yes. Caesar. What's his last name? It's killing me.
Romero.
No. On the spot, I can never think of stuff like this.
And he is kind of a dreamer, and he wants to make this utopia called Megalopolis using some type of metal that him and his wife made. Called Megalon. And
which sounds like a Godzilla villain.
Yeah, there is a Godzilla character named Megalon.
Wait, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, but I think and then from there, hilarity ensues. I think that's kind of the gist.
No, I think it is. It's Megalon.
Oh yeah.
That's the name of it. Yeah. Oh my god! I thought I was ruining my own brain with.
No, you're good.
Okay. Well, anyway, so that's the gist of it. Megalopolis, Caesar. Adam Driver plays Caesar.
Salad.
Caesar. No. Oh my gosh, this is driving me crazy.
I see it. It's the second.
Caesar Catalina.
Oh.
I knew it was a dressing.
What an Italian ass name.
I know.
Caesar Catalina.
I gotta say, Mr. Coppola, you let that Italian flag fly in this film, so I was appreciative of that. But anyway, so that's generally the gist of it. All I wanted to say about it really was this felt more like, I'm surprised I haven't heard more people say this. It felt more like 70s cinema than we've had in a long time. I thought. Visually, okay, yeah, it's got all the CGI spectacle that like it really did feel like a prequel, a Star Wars prequel, in the sense of like, damn, no one said no to this guy. He had unlimited effects funds to do this and that, and maybe you didn't even need to do all that. All the CGI excess of the prequels is there, but I also felt like it felt like a prequel in the sense of like, damn, this one guy got his vision out there.
Yeah.
No one said no, for better or worse. But I'm shocked at how little I've heard that it felt like 70s cinema, just in the way that I compare it to The Holy Mountain or Zardoz. Not like the story necessarily, but in just the way it was produced, where every frame has excess, where every shot, the two characters walk in, I think it was Wild Platinum and the other guy, the guy who...
Shia LaBeouf's character, or?
No, John... I can't remember. On the spot, I can't remember anyone's name. Crassus. Crassus, played by John Voight. That's what it was. They walk in the Colosseum and there's a gigantic statue they actually built of those two. And then there's jugglers over there, and there's someone, there's people in chariot race, and there's this and there's that and there's that. Just the excess and the wildness of how it was executed. I was like, this feels on the level of Holy Mountain or Zardoz, where it's about the art and they're letting it run wild in every frame. That's what I felt when I was watching this. I was like, I haven't had that feeling in a long time.
You just made me realize, like, in that scene, they show wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I can tell Coppola's trying to be like, let's do a modern take on the Colosseum. Like,
yeah.
And to me, I was like, this feels like your brain is stuck in the 80s and 90s a little bit. Like, wrestling, like, I think the modern equivalent would be more MMA.
Yes.
Like, if it cut to that scene and it was just, like, octagon and two dudes just, like, actually beating the shit out of each
that
other,
would be more
it would have
apt.
been crazy.
Yeah, that would be more apt for sure. I thought they said something about... I don't know. Am I crazy? I feel like I saw something about... Not that they mentioned UFC, but there was something about octagon fighting or something. I thought there was some mention of that kind of thing in the movie, but I might be thinking of something totally else.
I always think about there was sorry, this is kind of off track here, but I'll say it really fast. Yeah. On G4 on Attack of the Show back in the day, they had the director of the Death Race remake.
Yeah.
And he kept talking, and he was like, on TV we're getting more violent.
Yeah.
We went from WWE, now we're to MMA where it's actual real fighting. What's next? Death on TV?
Oh.
So that's where my movie comes
in.
He
had that. Race. Yeah, he had a figure. That was Paul W.S. Anderson.
Oh, it was? Oh, shit.
Yeah. I just...
You saw him.
Watched a movie with him.
Oh.
Because they played at Beyond Fest in LA, they played Event Horizon.
Yeah.
And I went to go get snacks, went to go get popcorn, sat down, wait, why are all these seats reserved? Whatever. I sat down and they sat him right behind me.
That's cool.
So any chance of riffing with friends on that movie was dashed, because it's like, the guy who made this is breathing down my neck. I don't even want to giggle at the wrong part. You know what I mean? So that was a little bit tricky, but he was a nice guy. He's a good looking man, and he talked like this, and he talked about how the only reason that movie turned out any good is because Titanic made all the studios panic, so they didn't pay attention to him. So I thought that was kind of cool. But we're not talking about Event Horizon. I just didn't realize he made that movie too. That's crazy.
Me either.
But anyway, so... But yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, that would have been a more modern take. But just like I said, the excess of everything in the movie really reminded me, and it felt like art in a way. I guess this is my compliment of the movie, is that it felt like art in a way I have not seen in a mainstream release in a long time. Like, I felt like, damn, you really got this into all theaters. How the fuck did you do this? So I really give it a compliment in that regard. Should more people have said no along the way? Well, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, and you could say that about George Lucas. You could say that whatever. But this didn't have any franchise quality at all. And the fact that he got that into every theater, I'm like, damn, you did it.
Yeah, there were multiple points in that movie where I just kept thinking to myself, like, damn, you make your art, you fucking weirdo.
Yes.
Like, you do it, dude. Yeah, I'm trying to It's been a couple of weeks since we saw it, or like a week or two.
Yeah, a week. A week?
A week? It feels like an eternity.
A week and a day.
And I'm trying to kind of recall my feelings.
Yeah.
I remember when it started, I was like, I wish Paul Verhoeven directed this or got this script, because I feel like Paul Verhoeven would have seen what he was trying to say and cut through all the bullshit.
Yes, and Paul Verhoeven would have achieved those same points in a much more consumable product.
Yeah, let me preface that by saying young Paul Verhoeven, not modern.
Sure.
But yeah, and then there were like moments where I was like, this is like beautiful, and then it would just start to just become a CG mess.
Yes.
Where both of us couldn't help but laugh. Like there were a lot of moments where we just were cackling at the screen.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's why this, to me, it's like you said unreviewable at one point. Yeah. Like we're reviewing it, but it's also unreviewable because I'm appreciating art and at the same time laughing at it like a Tim and Eric sketch.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it with venom either. I'm going, damn, you did this, man. But I'm also cackling at it. So it's so hard to give a review.
Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, I guess the most positive thing is I'm glad this exists.
Yeah,
like, yo, shout out. But man, everyone spoke like it was a poem. And sometimes that worked, and a lot of times it was like, Jesus Christ, what am I doing?
I'm kind of surprised how many people truly hated this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely can't say it's good, but I also, like, didn't hate what I saw. There were moments where it felt very long.
Yeah.
But that's probably my biggest criticism of it, is that it, like, a lot of moments overstay their welcome. You know, they have that dinner scene and she's quoting someone, and instead of just like one quote that's poignant, she says
like 4.
She says like 5, and I'm like, fucking move on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, we get it.
Shia LaBeouf has the craziest character arc in a movie I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what the fuck that was even about. If he wasn't even in the movie, I think the film would continue on without him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like he was there to be like... Sorry, it's starting to click for me. He almost felt like a court jester of the movie.
Yeah.
Like he was there to just be like this... I know he gets... there's kind of like a Trump connotation later on. But maybe that's like what he's trying to say, like, oh, this clown becomes the scary political force.
Yeah, honestly, like, you see throughout the movie the conflict of do we go with this billionaire that wants to keep things safe, or this billionaire that wants to go wild with all of this, and then amidst that infighting keeps going on so long that eventually the clown jester ends up being the appealing choice.
Yeah.
You could make that claim about Trump. You see all the political debates go on so long, you just want someone to fucking take the wind out of it a little bit. I think that was probably the point they were trying to make. But there's so many points being made at any point. It's hard to totally clarify, and some of it is really ham-fisted, but some of it you're going, this is clowny, but like there's a genius here. I see you. But man, you did it that way. Okay, all right. So I just had that feeling up and down throughout the entire.
Yeah, it was almost like a really strange episode of Succession. Kind of.
Like someone on heavy drugs wrote Succession. Yes. Like, wait, you gave us this? Yeah, just film it. Oh, okay. But you were saying about Shia LaBeouf, though, that I guess that, I don't know if you had anything more to...
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like his choices were weird. I think he spends half of this movie in drag.
Yeah.
Everyone's hair is stupid. His hair is the worst.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And before people in the comments be like, oh, what Trump, like, oh, bringing up Trump. There's literally a point where you see someone in a "Make New Rome Great Again" hat.
Yeah, like, exactly.
We're
not trying to project.
We're not projecting. It's so ham-fisted in this movie. Yeah. It's like, it's Trump.
Yeah. Some messages are, to me, like, all right, man, we get it. But then others I'm less clear on. And, I don't know if we're I don't think we're going into this trying to spoil it for people, but maybe if you want to go in cold, we are inherently doing that. I feel like if you wanted to see it, you probably already did. But Where I'm unclear is just the way this all wraps up. Not to jump too far ahead, but the way that the movie wraps up, I'm left with mixed feelings of like, I feel like it's partially fuck these bureaucratic billionaires that getting in the way of art. Because we can talk about that too. Feel there's a lot of self-insert of Coppola in this movie.
I want to talk about that for sure, yeah.
But I feel like there's that messaging, but then there's also a little bit to me of, but let that billionaire's cool. Let him, don't get in his way. Yeah. Like, let him do his thing. And it's like, well, which are you telling me? And I guess I haven't walked out clear of that yet.
I can't tell if it's like, maybe he's just, for lack of a better word, lost in the sauce. Because, I think he's trying to insinuate, like, trust the dreamers of the world.
Yeah,
but I don't know if he understands that, like, he wrote a character that's also, like, a billionaire.
A super rich magnate. Yeah, totally. So that's where I'm like, what's intentional here and what's not? That's where I'm left.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about the this is a theory I have. It's very blatant, so I hope I'm not totally wrong in this, but I feel like Adam Driver is definitely, like, a self-insert of young Coppola, and like trying to make things in a studio system.
Yeah.
And dealing with heartbreak, and then I almost feel like I forget the guy's name, Gus from Breaking Bad.
Oh, Mayor Cicero.
Yeah. I feel like that character, it's not apparent until later that he is old Coppola.
Yeah,
trying to deal with like the world changing and his family growing.
Yeah. Part of the time he doesn't want to give in to the other. You know, tries to work with them. Ooh, it's clashing again. It's like... So
it might be like I didn't even think about this. It's like they're clashing the whole movie, so maybe it's just like Coppola's internal debate of like, this is not what my younger self would do, this is what I would do. But it became apparent to me when the characters literally, Mayor Cicero, they revealed his name as Francis.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's you.
And to your point about that internal debate, both of them kind of come to the where they kind of come together on ultimately is their family. Yeah. Because again, sorry I'm spoiling this, but Caesar for the first time ends up having a kid and like stuff like that, and it's kind of like both parts of him finally it's like both sides of me really was just trying to make the best future for this. Yeah. And that's where they kind of end up meeting on. But it always requires debate. Maybe this is what he was getting at?
It's very muddied because there's also like an element of like, there's some boomer takes on like cancel culture.
Yes.
There's some boomer takes on like Taylor Swift and celebrity.
Yeah.
But this all is really funny to me because I watched Sofia Coppola's movie Priscilla recently.
Yeah.
And that's about Elvis and his relationship with his wife, Priscilla.
Yeah.
And Sofia Coppola said that a lot of the stuff that Elvis did kind of rang true to her because it reminded her of what Francis Ford Coppola would do, like her dad.
Yeah.
And she said she added moments of like stuff her dad would do.
Wow.
And so like Elvis is like throwing chairs and screaming and shit. I'm like, so like it's funny to see Francis Ford Coppola be like, this is me and I need to make my art and family. And then hear Sofia Coppola be like, yeah, he's throwing chairs and shit and being a fucking coked out weirdo.
I mean, Caesar in the movie threw a couple things too. So you never know. You never know. The muddy waters there. And as you said, definitely some boomer take moments throughout the movie. No doubt about it. The guy's old. I expected that was coming. But there were so many things where we really were like, are you in on this or not? In terms of the things we were laughing at.
Yeah.
And a point to him again is there is one moment later in the movie that is played a little bit serious. Well, is it? Where someone has a crossbow pulled on them. And
just a bow.
Just a bow, but it is presented as, hey, check out this boner I got. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, look at that. Oh, it's not. It's a bow and arrow. Goodbye. And we are just cackling But again, we're like, this old man's gone crazy.
Yeah.
But again, then you see he does Q&A on Instagram, and people are like, why did you do that scene? He's like, oh, I thought it'd be really funny. Well, we were laughing very hard.
There's like layer upon layer of this. Sorry, I'm going to spoil things. I don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Jon Voight's character
Yeah.
is pretending to have a dealing with a stroke.
Yeah.
And he does that, and the arrow, as he's pulling it, has like a little shine. It goes like, bing, right before he shoots it. Like, it plays exactly like a comedy
It's
movie.
like a Looney Tunes scene.
It plays like a Mel Brooks movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. The film is tonally all over the place, but like we said before, like I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah. And everyone's performance in it,
Very weird.
very weird, but I still wouldn't say, oh, bad. Like, I would say I'd say most of them are great at points, and then will also make the most baffling choices you've ever seen. So I don't know if I would say anyone's bad. I'm just like, oh man, why'd you do that? And a lot of it too is just like, I think you did your best with what was written here. That was my opinion. I don't know.
Something that kept making me laugh the entire movie unintentionally is what's his name is in this movie? From goddamn, I forgot his name. Old actor, Mrs. Robinson.
Dustin Hoffman?
Dustin Hoffman's in this movie. And I know for a fact, he classically will not give you a second take.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he gives you one, and it's...
Oh, I didn't know. Maybe that's why he's in it so little.
Yeah, so there's scenes where his acting is fucking weird. And
Yeah.
I kept laughing to myself because I was like, I know this is the only one you got.
Wow. I didn't know that about
Yeah,
him.
you can find information. Yeah, he only gives you one take.
Yeah.
One or two, maybe. But,
Wow.
I'm trying to think of other things.
Well, I was just going to say,
I'll
say on the compliment side,
Sure.
speaking of assassination attempts,
Oh, yeah.
that was something that cracked me up is Johnny literally, when it was over, said to me, like, okay, all this crazy stuff we brought up, okay, but despite anything we say, Coppola still has some of the Godfather in him. Because, man, there's like a hit attempt
And it's great.
at one point that the audience, I mean, it wasn't a big audience when we saw this, but what little reaction there was it came out during that, where it was like, oh, damn! Like that, like the 8 people in the theater fucking popped. No! It felt like, ooh, that was the Godfather scene you had in your back pocket.
Yeah, I was like, give me more. Give me more, like, fucking hit scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of the audience, should I talk about what happened with... Or is that more for the podcast? I don't know.
I'll say it on the podcast too,
Okay.
but in case I forget.
Sure.
Yeah.
So there was maybe like five people max in the theater.
Yeah.
And when the movie's beginning, we start to see a guy walking up the stairs with his cell phone light out, and he goes right to our row,
Looking for every letter on the chairs.
looking for every letter.
And all that, yeah.
Walks into our row and sits right next to me. This is an
Empty theater.
empty theater. He could have sat wherever the fuck he wanted, right next to me.
I mean, it was like, you've seen that meme where it's 100 urinals and the guy walks up and pees in the one next to the one guy
Yeah.
and goes, oh, do you know about, have you ever heard of Game of Thrones or whatever he says to me? It was that. We had an empty theater and the guy sat an inch, like right here.
Yeah. And I don't know why, I just immediately felt like I felt so like deep anger.
Yeah,
and
you
then,
were pissed.
And then I just smell that he is like, I smell alcohol on him. Like he is lit.
Yep.
And so I just turned to Rocco. I'm like, can we move down a seat? And then we just move over a seat. And the guy looked at me like that. He sat right next to me. In this empty theater.
What do you? Yeah, I mean, but it's so funny because he sat down. Okay, should we switch or should I move down there? What would be better for you? I'm moving.
Yeah.
And he had the same reaction that I've seen. Sometimes I've been at Disneyland just on my own.
Yeah.
Either I'm there just on my own or I go on a different ride than my friends and I'm, single rider on a ride. Sometimes they will put you in a row with other people.
Yeah.
And on some rides it's fine, but like Pirates, I don't want to sit in the same row as another guy.
No.
Like, I don't want make small talk.
Same.
And so they'll do that. Okay, you'll sit with that guy, and I will just step in and step over him and leave. And they always react the same, which is stood up at prom reaction. It's what's wrong with me? So he gave you the same thing. It was refreshing to see that, but not directed at me.
I didn't tell you this during the movie though. He was having such a hard time opening nachos.
Oh, yeah.
But
I saw you struggling with something.
The way he was struggling with it and the sound it was making, it sounded like a man loading a gun.
Oh,
and so
no.
I was like, my heart was, I'm like, oh, this is how I die.
You were like, should have made friends.
Yeah, because it's like he sat right next to me, and I was like, oh, this is it. He's about to fucking unload. But then I looked over and just saw he was like, okay, and I was, oh, all right.
All right, you're just an idiot.
Yeah.
All right. And then he left, and I was like, good. He got the hint. Nah, he came back later.
Came back with another drink.
Oh,
Shouts
man,
out.
that's what happened. Wow. I didn't even see that.
That's a crazy movie to get lit for.
Yeah, I would not do that.
There were moments where like he like did the classic, like got really close and was like,
yeah, he did that a few times.
I was like, this is such a funny movie to do that.
Yeah. At that same theater, I saw Oppenheimer in IMAX. We saw this in IMAX, by the way.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it in IMAX because I just figured they ain't doing that again. You know,
for sure.
Like, we'll watch this later on streaming, and I guarantee you, I'm telling you, I will say the highest compliment I'll give this movie is that in 20 years, this will definitely be among the ranks of midnight movies. Like, they're gonna play next week they're playing Zardoz, and then the next week they're playing Megalopolis. Oh, okay, you know, it's just that kind of movie. So
it's gonna age like well, for sure.
I think so.
In a funny way.
Yeah, totally. In the right way. You know, all of this will balance out, I think. But anyway, but I just can't see them playing IMAX digital like that. I just don't. You'll see it in second run theaters, but you ain't seeing it like in IMAX.
No.
I just don't think anyone will have any motivation to do that. So that's why I wanted to see it now, and it was crisp. I will say that it was worth the clarity. Was worth the $1. But anyway,
I'm trying to think of more things to talk about. Like, I mean, I said this, and I know it's gonna come off crass, but I have to speak my truth.
Crassus?
Yeah. Oh.
As seen in the film?
I think Francis Ford Coppola is as attracted to Aubrey Plaza as I am. Like, it just felt. I've never felt people will talk in film about like the male gaze and how this movie's gazy. Every scene she was in, I felt my man's like eyes just like.
I didn't, and I'll add to that. I didn't feel like it was that way with other women.
No, it was just her.
But Aubrey Plaza, it was like,
her.
yeah, okay, let's see if she does this. See if she does that. Yeah, okay, do this now.
Yeah.
I felt that too. And she was on Howard Stern recently and talked about how she didn't even have to audition for this. They just reached out to her.
Dude.
So I'm starting to put pieces together.
It's only like one or two scenes.
Yeah,
but I definitely was like, okay, Francis.
But I'm glad she was in this. Like,
yeah,
that was
good.
A welcome presence.
For sure.
I'm still cracking up because if you really look back to old articles, it's about how like Zendaya backed out of Coppola's new movie. Like, I think she was supposed to be I forget her name's Caesar, who Caesar is with or whatever.
Yeah, his like
I forget her name. Julia. Yeah.
Also,
I
like
think that was
weird,
probably supposed to be her.
Weird subplot. Like she's like kind of the movie kind of insinuates she's very much younger than Adam Driver, right? I don't know.
I think. Yeah.
I was like, this is a weird tidbit to add to this.
But what wasn't a weird tidbit is just making the whole place, that whole city, look like a Final Fantasy X cutscene.
Oh, sick.
That it really felt like this could have been a Final Fantasy game. Like if Coppola did Final Fantasy, it would have been this. So again, compliment, I think.
What was the line that was really cracking you up? Where it was like, and they're fucking.
It was about the two sisters.
Yeah.
Was it Julia and her sister, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was like 3 sisters.
Yeah, but it was about the sister, and you're hearing the tabloids talk. Oh, this just in, and they're going to every place in town, and they're wanted by da-da-da-da-da-da, showing up to this party and that party. And the rumor is they're also sleeping together. That I don't know.
Start cracking up.
I don't know why I laughed for like 11 minutes after that.
Yeah.
Like, and they're sleeping together. Like these sisters. All right. That I don't know why that caught me off guard so bad.
We should talk about the line that's getting the most traction on social media.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
The club, or whatever the fuck it does.
And I appreciate, and I do not see the reason to speak to anyone who doesn't carry those favors. So go ahead and take yourself back to the club and let me do that. Whatever. Like that hit, even in the limited crowd we had, someone went like, you heard like a laugh clap, like that hit.
What a weird line.
Yeah, I will say, I used to, when Adam Driver was only in a couple things, like he was in that show Girls, he was in something else, I didn't like him. No. And then over the years, I'm like, this guy rules.
He's great.
I mean, between this and he navigates this with ease. Like, as he got handed a shit sandwich here, and he just cuts through it with lines like that. He's great. And Marriage Story, he was fantastic. Oh, and yeah, fuck it, Kylo Ren. He's great. He's great. So yeah, I love the guy. So he's really become one of my favorite actors. But anyway, but yeah, I was laughing at that one part for so long. I don't know why that caught me off guard. And they're sleeping together. Thanks for the update.
I did appreciate the news broadcast in this movie.
Yeah,
he could have easily done some green screen nightmare, but it was like, they filmed stuff and then it was shot practically on CRTs. And I feel like that added, like, I was like, oh, that's a great way to, like...
Yeah.
Because I feel like any type of, like, not saying that this is an indie film, but it kind of had the indie film energy.
Yes.
Digital indie film energy.
Yeah.
Where, like, you're always just seeing, like, a newscaster on green screen. That's every indie movie I've seen. It's always like... 3 people are dead, and it's like the worst green screen you've ever seen. But I feel like he did that, but then put it on a CRT, and it added like some value, production value.
But he could have got, I mean, and he did a good job not trying to make it look like anything, because again, like, it was all so cracked out. Like, Wow Platinum hosts the show, and then like sings her outro. So this was already like not in reality. So I appreciated not trying to make, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. Now, he didn't give a shit, and I like that energy. The movie did not do well from a monetary standpoint, but I will say, again, Coppola wanted to make it, and that's all he cared about, and it doesn't seem like it has bothered him in the slightest. No. He is talking about it every day, still sounding just as happy as when it got announced. Like, he's posting stuff about it every day, just like, and even just the other day, he posted, I don't know if you saw this, but literally, like, they posted it like it was an achievement. They were like, check it out. Now the poster for this is at our Cafe Zoetrope in San Francisco. Ooh. You know, it had like posters of his movies in the restaurant. Now there's stuff from that in there. And he was talking about it like he won an Oscar. You know, and it's like, I will give this guy credit. He got to a point where he could just do that. And it was like, damn, $120 million lost. Yeah, but it exists. Damn, man, you pulled it off. Damn.
You just made this movie. You just cracked the fucking code on this movie to a level where I didn't think it was. I was ready for this. So we went to that Cafe Zoetrope in San Francisco, and they showed us that there's kind of like an editing bay down there.
Yeah, and a screening room. You could record audio, dialogue, music. There's studio for that, and a room to screen movies. Yeah.
This movie has the energy of him like going upstairs to the cafe. Hey, what's up? Drinking wine, drinking some espresso, going down. Make this fucking weird. Coming back, hey, what's up? Like, it just has the energy of him like going up and down the stairs of like fucking around in his cafe.
Totally. And I think he's at a stage in his life that he's good with. It's like, hey, I want to make art and savor that, and the rest, he can fuck around and not have that ruin him, you know. And I think that's cool. For the most part. I mean, again, there are things that aren't cool about this movie, but the fact that it exists is like, damn, dude, wow.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything else to really say about it.
Yeah, maybe we said it all.
I think we said it all.
Well, there you go, everybody. The great debate. It really wasn't a debate. We just both talked about it. But Megalopolis was not a movie for just one. You know, I see a lot of these YouTube people. You got, who are the big reviewers? Nostalgia Critic. Did he review this? Is it nostalgic yet?
Dude, the Nostalgia Critic review of this would be so fucking funny. I
just don't get why the city looks like this. It looks like a Final Fantasy cutscene.
Yeah.
And he gets Yuna's gun from the game. And I wish vengeance upon thee. Who else could review it?
Red Letter Media.
Red Letter Media?
They haven't reviewed it.
They didn't review it? What the hell? Where's that?
They should review it.
See, they should, because again, they could have the two people. I think this movie is better when a couple people are talking about it.
Yeah.
As opposed to one guy. But I saw, who was it? Jeffrey Johns or Jeffrey Dahmer or whoever the reviewer is. And it was just one guy, and he's saying, I don't know. The first half I liked, second half I don't know. And I'm like, you need another person there to have the debate. It should have been Jeffrey and John.
Yeah.
Not just the 2 and 1. But anyway, but no hate to any of those guys. Shout out Nostalgia Critic. I was just doing that as a parody. I wasn't trying to offend you. Anyway, yeah, there you go. What did you think? Leave a comment. What did you think of Megalopolis? Did it was it a mega good movie, or did it suck mega cockless? You decide. That I didn't write that. That was on Letterboxd. That was a famous tweet. So we didn't write that.
No.
Don't
Stolen Valor.
credit that. Yeah, I didn't write that. That's on Letterboxd. It's like the top review on Letterboxd. So anyway, let us know your thoughts. Write it below, and thank you. And we'll end this just as vague and weird as Megalopolis. Time stop. Still gotta turn it off. Don't. I'm gonna do an effect where it just turns off.